Welcome back to Channel Name. Today, we dive into the chilling case of Mary Bartel, whose bravery led to the conviction of a notorious serial killer. Join us as we unravel the story of courage, justice, and the relentless pursuit of truth. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated on our latest videos. This footage conceals a deeply unsettling secret. At first glance, everything seems ordinary as a woman in red shops for groceries at her local Walmart. However, a closer inspection reveals a chilling reality. She is being followed. A man trails her through multiple aisles, accompanies her to the checkout, and then follows her out of the store and into his car, tracking her as she leaves the parking lot. The woman being followed is 81-year-old grandmother Lou T. Harris. Just 2 hours after this footage was captured, Lou T. Harris was found dead in her home. Subsequent review of various retirement home security cameras revealed that the same man has been seen stalking elderly women in different disguises, blue nurse scrubs, a healthcare provider t-shirt, and even posing as a plumber. Disturbingly, in retirement communities throughout Dallas, Texas, hundreds of elderly women have met their end in eerily similar circumstances to Lou T. Harris.
We were looking at 700 or more unattended deaths.
I've never seen a case of this magnitude.
The Dallas police were investigating these deaths as one-offs. They weren't looking for a serial killer.
Everything took a dramatic turn on March 19, 2018, when 91-year-old Mary Bartel was attacked in her retirement community and rushed to the hospital. Little did the police know, she had just outwitted a serial killer. The year was 2016. Mary Bartel, then 91, was enjoying a serene life in Dallas, Texas, having called Preston Place, a luxury retirement community, her home for the past 4 years. She lived there with her beloved husband, Don. Retirement communities are designed to provide a safe and comfortable environment, offering all the comforts of home in a resort-like setting, ideal for Mary and other seniors.
Safe and secure in a 16-acre gated community.
It's really nice. The people are just great.
Everybody has got such a friendly attitude.
They assured us they had never had any issues with security.
Mary and Don were happily married for 67 years until Don passed away in 2015. Though she misses him deeply, Mary remains active in her community, finding solace in her close-knit family. Her daily routine includes attending Mass, participating in an exercise class, and spending time with her many friends. Mary, known for her sweetness, lived just around the corner from our apartment. However, on March 19, 2018, everything changed. At 9:26 a.m., a 911 dispatcher in Plano received a frantic call from an elderly woman at Preston Place Retirement Home.
911, what's the emergency? We have a neighbor that we cannot awake.
It was meant to be just another ordinary day. Jackie, Mary's close friend, was on her way to pick her up for their daily exercise class. However, this time something felt wrong. When Jackie arrived at Mary's front door, her friend was not there waiting, as she normally would be.
She noticed that the door was ajar, so she pushed it open and looked in, and she saw Mary.
Mary is lying completely motionless on her bed. Jackie, in a state of panic, rushes over and tries desperately to wake her, but Mary remains unconscious. Without hesitation, Jackie dials 911, seeking immediate help for her dear friend.
Rest her place. Is she breathing? We can't wake her up. It's on the way, okay?
When the EMTs arrive at her apartment, they check Mary's pulse, hoping there might still be a chance to save her. Meanwhile, a police officer informs Mary's son, John Bartel. He and the rest of the family are overwhelmed with shock and confusion, not knowing whether Mary will survive or what could have happened to her. Despite being in her 90s, Mary is active, socially engaged, quick-witted, and independent, with no concerning medical history. To everyone's surprise, Mary suddenly regains consciousness. She raises her hand towards the police officer and points to her finger, signaling a crucial detail. Her wedding ring is missing.
Her son, John, he told me she wears that wedding ring all the time. She sleeps in it, she bathes in it. It does not leave her hand. If that wedding ring's missing, there's a problem.
When the EMTs arrive at her apartment, they check Mary's pulse, hoping there might still be a chance to save her. Meanwhile, a police officer informs Mary's son, John Bartel. He He and the rest of the family are overwhelmed with shock and confusion, not knowing whether Mary will survive or what could have happened to her. Despite being in her 90s, Mary is active, socially engaged, quick-witted, and independent, with no concerning medical history. To everyone's surprise, Mary suddenly regains consciousness. She raises her hand towards the police officer and points to her finger, signaling a crucial detail. Her wedding ring is missing.
It reminded me of the bulletin Officer Chapman had put out regarding thefts from deceased people.
Over the years, hundreds of elderly women had died, some under suspicious circumstances and others with their belongings missing. Until now, their deaths had gone unexamined.
That's when I get that sinking feeling like, oh my gosh, this is serious.
Mary Bartel is rushed to the hospital, clinging to life with her survival in the balance. As investigators await updates on her condition, they are compelled to revisit other cases that bear a disturbing resemblance to hers. During this investigation, they come across the case of Helen Lee, which dates back 6 months to the summer of 2017 and is just 9 miles from where Mary was found. Helen, an 82-year-old resident of the Parkview Fresco retirement community for the past 5 years, has been enjoying her retirement surrounded by friends and, most importantly, her frequently visiting granddaughter.
My Grammy was the most loving, caring, compassionate person.
Helen spent over 45 years as a seamstress before retiring and choosing to settle in the renowned Texas retirement community, Parkview Fresco. Among her closest friends there is 90-year-old Marilyn Bixler, who also resides at Fresco. The two women, who live in the same building, Marilyn on the first floor and Helen on the third, cherish their time together, frequently going out for lunch, dinner, and finding any excuse to enjoy each other's company.
The stairwell was constantly unlocked, no video surveillance cameras whatsoever.
It is now September 1st. Helen and Marilyn have been savoring their retirement years, but within a few short weeks, both women were discovered dead in their apartments.
Sunday, September 3rd, Grammy never made it to church, so I decided to go check on her. I saw her laying in her bedroom, cane at her side. I trusted law enforcement when they said that she probably died of a heart attack.
Initially, the deaths are considered non-suspicious. Given that both women were in their late 80s and living in a retirement home, it seemed natural to the authorities to rule their deaths as due to natural causes without conducting autopsies. After all, it's not uncommon for residents in such facilities to pass away. However, something about the situation bothers the families. Both women were found lying in unnaturally straight positions, almost as if deliberately arranged. Bruises were visible on their arms, and one of their pairs of glasses was found twisted backward. Despite these unsettling details, no further action was taken.
I asked the police, do you think someone hurt my mother? But then I was told no. She had died naturally, and someone just happened to come by and rob the jewelry off of her cold, dead body.
The night Mom died, I realized her ring's gone. And I said, who stole Mom's ring? She never took her ring off.
As a surge in local robberies continues to escalate, the police are compelled to investigate further. They discover a disturbing pattern, a series of elderly women who have died under eerily similar circumstances. Each case involves the theft of valuable items such as wedding rings, gold necklaces, and even Rolex watches. The total value of these stolen goods surpasses $500,000. The striking coincidence between the timing of the disappearances and the deaths suggests a far more sinister motive at play.
Normally you have maybe 3 deaths a year at Tradition Prestonwood. Now we've got several deaths in 3.5 months with stolen jewelry. There should be alarms going everywhere.
Between 2016 and 2018, hundreds of deaths among senior citizens are now under investigation, with each case linked to just 4 luxury senior living facilities.
We were looking at somewhere probably around 700 or more unattended deaths.
For years, the management of the retirement homes appears to take no action, but the families persist in seeking answers. They reach out to the community relations director at Tradition, Preston Wood, and Moon DeSantis to inquire about the missing jewelry. However, when pressed for details, his demeanor shifts noticeably, and he responds with brief, indifferent answers.
And he said, well, these old ladies hide stuff in their underwear drawer sometimes. He was very dismissive.
Residents take matters into their own hands by putting up warning posters to alert everyone about the jewelry thefts and advise locking their doors for safety. However, these posters are quickly removed by the retirement home management, who argue that they were unauthorized and might cause undue anxiety and stress among the residents. Worse,
something was not right. The community relations director said it was sudden, heart attack, she just dropped dead.
After receiving numerous complaints in the fall of 2016, detectives decide to investigate further and bring GED Munoz Sanchez in for questioning at the police station.
Detective Allen, badge number 7.
Tone of his response raises further suspicion among the local police. The sergeant begins to investigate the availability of surveillance footage across all the retirement homes. They discover that, to their astonishment, not only is camera coverage generally sparse, but Preston Place is particularly lacking. There are no cameras on the 3rd or 4th floors, leaving nearly all doors and exits unmonitored. It appears almost too easy for someone to come and go without being detected.
Sergeant Davis told me something is fishy. Something about this is not right.
The police follow every possible lead, including questioning the paramedics who were on the scene. However, without physical evidence, suspects, or anything substantial beyond the missing jewelry, they quickly hit a dead end.
The paramedics, they're all cleared.
No one touched the body, it was covered up.
The case is closed, no arrests are made.
However, everything changed on March 19, 2018, when 91-year-old Mary Bartel was rushed to the hospital. Her case bears striking similarities to those from the past 2 years, but this time, her survival might provide crucial answers that could bring the police closer to uncovering the truth.
I thought I would die. I'm not afraid to die, but I didn't die that way.
On the morning of March 19, 2018, a typical Monday at Preston Place Retirement Home, Mary is at her computer in her apartment, drafting an email to her children. At around 8:30 a.m., a sudden knock interrupts her.
I heard this very insistent rapping at the door.
Assuming it's likely a friend or a trusted staff member, Mary unlocks her front door to greet the visitor. However, as the lock clicks, a tall man abruptly pushes the door open in a state of panic. Mary attempts to close it, but the man forcefully pushes his way inside. It's then that Mary notices something unsettling. The man is wearing green rubber gloves.
I knew instantly when I saw those 2 green rubber gloves, my life was in grave danger. He said, "Don't fight me, lie on the bed."
He grabbed a pillow off my bed and just forcibly pushed down very hard. I felt as though I could not breathe.
The man towers over the frail 91-year-old Mary. Despite her desperate attempts to fight back and push against him, she is quickly overpowered by his strength and height. In a final act of desperation, she reaches for her life alert pendant, but her arm is pinned down and she loses consciousness. Moments later, the door creaks open again, but this time, it's one of Mary's friends arriving to take her to their morning workout. The sight horrifies her. Mary is motionless, unresponsive, and lying in an unnatural position. Realizing something is terribly wrong, her friend immediately calls 911, hoping to save her in time. As Mary is rushed to the hospital on a gurney, she opens her eyes and manages to give the police a detailed description of her attacker. Armed with this precise information, detectives begin a thorough investigation. canvassing for witnesses and interviewing all retirement home employees. They discover several reports of a suspicious individual matching Mary's description seen lurking on the premises.
The suspect has been seen on numerous occasions visiting the 4th floor and has stated he was there to check for pipe leaks. 5'10", 180 pound, dressed in a clean suit, carrying a satchel.
Around the same day and time as Mary's attack, police received a call reporting a stranger loitering near his car for hours in the retirement home parking lot. The concerned caller had noted the vehicle's license plate. When police investigate, they find the car is registered to a 46-year-old man named Billy Premier. His description matches Mary's attacker, and he works in the medical field, or at least it seems that way. Upon reviewing security footage, detectives observe that Billy has appeared as a nurse, plumber, maintenance worker, and more. They begin to understand his methods. He gains entry to facilities using random uniforms from past jobs and unmonitored doors. A closer examination of his background reveals troubling information. Billy has DUI charges and, most alarmingly, a previous arrest in 2016 for trespassing at a retirement home under the guise of a maintenance worker to access elderly residents' apartments. If Billy is indeed the perpetrator, he has the means, medicine, keys, and access to vulnerable individuals, and could potentially be responsible for over 700 victims while currently remaining free. The police learn that he has frequently changed his appearance, jobs, vehicles, and identities, enabling him to move through multiple retirement homes without detection. With all resources now focused on locating him, the search intensifies for what appears to be a serial killer on the loose. On March 20th, 2018, just one day after Mary's attack, the suspicious vehicle from the previous day is spotted pulling into a Walmart just 5.7 miles from Mary's apartment.
Walmart has cameras all over the place, all over the store, able to watch his conduct for hours at a time.
At 2:30 p.m., security cameras capture Billy walking through the Walmart store. On close inspection, it's clear he is tracking a specific elderly woman dressed in red. He mirrors her every movement, shadowing her through the aisles for over 20 minutes as she completes her shopping and returns to her car. Oblivious to the suspicious vehicle and its occupant following her out of the parking lot, the woman heads home. It's chilling to think that someone could be followed from Walmart all the way to their home. By 5:50 p.m., hours later, police finally spot Billy's vehicle based on the descriptions they have. The driver matches Billy's profile perfectly. They follow the vehicle as it enters an apartment complex. The suspect stops in front of a dumpster, gets out, and discards something inside. While some officers continue to track him, others investigate the dumpster. Inside, they find a strikingly red jewelry box, which appears to have been broken into. Although some valuables remain, the most significant find is an old name tag along with a document inside the box. The name on the tag reads Alud Ving Harris. The police quickly search the name and discover an 81-year-old woman who lives less than 2 miles away. It's now a race against time.
There was a decision made quickly. Go to that residence and do a welfare check.
One of the neighbors asked me, "Is everything okay?" I said, "Yes, sir, we just need to check the welfare of the lady who lives here." And he said, "Well, she should be fine. I saw her at the post office at 4:30. Since it's in their jurisdiction, ultimately force entry into the residence."
As the police rush into the home, they sadly find that they are too late. An elderly woman's body is discovered, and she matches the description of Lucy Harris. The family is immediately notified, including Lucy's granddaughter, Karen Vuong. Karen is stunned when her father unexpectedly picks her up from school, realizing that something must have gone terribly wrong.
My dad picked me up from the university. He immediately burst out sobbing, like, "Karen, I have to tell you something." She's gorgeous, and she loved dressing up. She had a little kid smile. We'll never understand or know why he chose her, of all people. I was at the place where I was already terrified, triple checking the locks, making sure that no one was following.
Initially, Lucy Harris's apartment showed no signs of forced entry. and nothing appeared suspicious. However, due to the earlier discovery of her jewelry box in the dumpster, the search for the suspected serial killer becomes critically urgent. The police, who have been tracking his movements, intensify their efforts and finally arrest Billy Shamir just outside his apartment complex in Dallas. All evidence implicates him in the murder of Lucy Harris, which occurred only an hour before his arrest.
Sources say suspect Billy Shamir is being held here at the Dallas County Jail on a capital murder charge.
He is taken to the police station and promptly placed in an interrogation room. Billy maintains a facade of innocence and confusion when confronted with the evidence, keeping his composure. The detective then presents him with irrefutable proof of his guilt.
Shamir's apartment, Dallas found several cell phones, gloves, a printed out passport for an alias.
In his vehicle and apartment, police discovered multiple pieces of jewelry belonging to previous victims, as well as evidence linking him to several suspicious deaths. To gather more information, they visit local pawn shops and jewelry stores, showing a picture of Billy Shamir in hopes of finding additional evidence. One of the owners at Diamond and Gold Exchange immediately identifies Shamir as a regular customer, recognizing him from security footage.
He's laughing, shaking hands.
He portrayed himself as a buyer and a seller of jewelry, obtaining it legally. This was his job.
Billy Shamir operated through various pawn shops, diamond stores, and online marketplaces like eBay. He reportedly made over $100,000 from selling the stolen jewelry, though the actual amount is likely far greater than the police can estimate. On April 20th, 2022, following a mistrial in the first case for theft, the second trial to bring Shamir to justice begins, focusing exclusively on the murder of Lucy Harris. Despite his alleged involvement in at least 18 other murders, the trial is now solely centered on this particular crime.
The trial of Billy Shamir starts in just a couple of hours. Prosecutors believe that the evidence against Shamir in the murder of Lucy Harris is the strongest. She's the last victim he's accused of killing about an hour before his arrest.
Counsel, how does your client plead?
Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen, the jury entered the plea of not guilty.
Evil little man with his beady little eyes. There's nothing in there. There's no soul.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a case about stalking, smothering, and stealing.
The prosecution began its case focusing on the day before Billy Shamir's arrest, when he's accused of attacking 91-year-old Mary Bartel.
On the very first day of the trial, Mary Bartel's testimony is presented to the court. Her vivid and powerful account of the events paints a harrowing picture of the terror she endured.
It was some of the strongest evidence we had. Miss Bartel told us exactly what he did, how he went about it.
In the courtroom, the families of the victims listen intently to every word from Mary Bartel, now understanding the suffering their own loved ones must have faced. Mary's children are deeply proud of her bravery. On April 28, 2022, the jury delivers a verdict in just 45 minutes, convicting Billy Shamir of capital murder.
At this time, having a jury of 12 that have found him guilty of the offense of capital murder, you will serve a sentence of life without the possibility of parole.
Lou Harris's family is relieved. Their mom and grandmother are gone, but justice has been served.
Now would get what his actions deserve.
We are incredibly relieved that justice is finally here.
We would hope that what we've gone through here, that these communities wake up and hold themselves accountable.
Families of 22 victims linked to Shamir have been invited back to court next week to give victim impact statements. That's where they will be allowed to address Shamir directly for the first time.
The judge allowed all of the victims linked to Billy Shamir to testify.
Fabulous big pictures of our moms for us to hold up.
My mother was Miriam Nelson. She was healthy and vibrant, kind, funny, and she loved life. She taught me to always look for the good in everyone.
Thanks to Mary's bravery, on October 7, 2022, Billy Shamir was convicted for a second time, guaranteeing he would never harm anyone again. Today, Mary's legacy endures through her family and the families of all the other victims. Although she passed away peacefully in 2020, just days before her 93rd birthday, her memory lives on. Mary is profoundly missed, but her life stands as a testament to the fact that courage knows no age. Her memory is cherished by all who knew her, and her heroism continues to inspire everyone. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more true crime content. The bravery of Mary Bartel and the pursuit of justice for all the victims remind us of the resilience and courage that can emerge even in the darkest times. Her legacy continues to inspire, and her story is a powerful testament that no matter the age, heroism is timeless. If you have any thoughts or questions about this case, drop them in the comments below. And remember, you can always stay updated on our latest videos by hitting that notification bell. Until next time, stay safe and keep seeking the truth.